Well, we finally move into our last house with our mom. So this is the last house I lived at with my mom before we finally moved out and lived with my aunt. My mom was a crazy person in this house. So it's 2003 and we move into our new house with our mom, and Bobby's not around anymore, thank God, but my mom is completely off her rocker at this place, just more and more drugs. She was still doing pills here and there, but for the most part she had gotten back on crack full time. And now that we're getting older, I'm 14, my sister's 12, like my mom pretty much just goes out on her own and does whatever she wants to do. But one crack-fueled evening, she goes way too far, pushes it to the limit, and forces my sister and I to move out for good. I woke up one day, I lived upstairs, I had an upstairs room. I remember one day I woke up and she was just slamming the door to my upstairs, just slamming it, pop, 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 pop. I'm like, what is going on, man? It was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then I finally get up and go downstairs and see what's going on, and she's just back to sleep. I'm like, what the hell just happened? But that was just pretty much standard with her. I remember the night my mom woke me up slamming the door just because of how loud she was actually being. Like, I felt like the entire foundation of the house was freaking moving, I swear to God. Like, I don't know how she was doing that, but it was so hard the entire house was shaking, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then she's just being so loud while she's slamming the door. She's just like, ah, pa, pa, ah. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? And then my room is like basically like the stairway that she's slamming the door is basically a tunnel straight to where my bed's at. Because when you open the door and look at the staircase, there's 2 walls right next to the staircase that lead straight upstairs. They go right into my room. So she's screaming and slamming this door, and it's going ring right into my bedroom and right into my ear when I'm trying to sleep at 2 or 3 in the morning, whatever fucking time this was. She was having some sort of crazy crack attack or some shit, and was losing her mind. So woke us all up in the house, and then we're all freaked out. So then me and my sister go downstairs, and we're like, what the fuck is going on in here? And then my mom was basically already asleep in her room again. We're like, what the fuck was he doing? And then she woke up and she was like, what happened? I'm like, what the fuck you mean what happened, bitch? You were slamming the door and screaming, and what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? And I don't know. I don't even think she knew what she was doing. She may have literally been like, I don't know what she was doing. So either way, that was just a normal night with her mom. And in the daytime, she was just as crazy. I remember this one time her and I almost got into a fist fight in my front yard. I have no idea still to this day why we almost got into a fist fight, but she was basically just talking shit or something. And I was just like, Mom, I could kick your ass. Because I was probably joking around like, Mom, I could actually kick your ass if I wanted to, but I'm obviously not going to do that. But if I wanted to, Mom, I could probably kick your ass. And I think she took it personally or something. And she was just like, oh, you could kick my ass, huh, Mario? Well, let's go outside then, kick my fucking ass. So then we go out to the front yard. And I'm still confused if this is like a troll or if she's like actually dead serious, like we're about to fight right now. So we go to the front yard and we're like literally standing face to face. She's like, come on, Mario, fuck me up. You want to fucking fight me? Let's go, fuck me up. And I'm like, Mom, I could kick your ass. Like, what are you doing right now? And then the neighbors are outside watching us, and I'm like, bro, are we actually gonna fight right now, or are we just fucking around? Because like you are seeming serious right now. She seemed like actually crazy, and it's fucked up that if I would have slapped her around a little bit, you know, gave her a little swat, you know, people would have been like, oh my God, I cannot believe you would hit your mom like that. But it's like, she's doing this to me, motherfucker. I'm like 13 or 14 years old, bro. She's like almost 50, 55 years old, bro. What the fuck is she doing? Like, get away from me, bitch. My mom used to let me drive the car back and forth from the store sometimes when I was 14, and I have no idea even why now she let me do that. Probably because she was high and stupid. But even this car she got gifted from her, what she called mom and dad, even though they weren't her real mom and dad. They were just some random people that she called mom and dad. They were 2 prison missionaries. They were married. They were a couple, so they would go around to prisons and like talk the word of God to people in prison. And I think that's how they met. And for some reason, she just started calling them mom and dad. Probably because they would give her money and whatever she needed. They literally gave her this freaking car. They came to town in their big RV, took us to a car lot, bought her a brand new car. Well, it wasn't brand new, but either way, it was new to us. They were pretty cool people. Like, I didn't really have a problem with them. I just thought it was really weird that she called them mom and dad. And I even remember Judy and Shelby, my 2 aunts, thinking like, why does she call them mom and dad? Like, that's weird. And I don't know, that is pretty weird. But either way, she let me drive the car. For what reason, I have no idea. But I'm 14 and I'm driving the car now back and forth through the store because we only lived maybe like
half a mile, a quarter mile away from the store. So I would drive it up there on the back roads. And anytime I wanted to drive the car, I'd be like, hey mom, can I take the car to the store? And she'd be like, yeah, Mario, but if you get pulled over, I'm gonna have to tell him you stole the car, because I can't tell him I'm letting my 14-year-old kid drive the car to the store. So I'm gonna have to tell him you stole the car. I'm like, well, I don't give a shit. I'm still driving the car, hell yeah. So get in the car, drive all the back roads to the store. And this one particular time I get out, and I always parked on the side of the building, not in the front. And nobody really was over there. So I parked on the side so nobody would ever see me get in or out of the car, because that'd be not good. So I get out of the car one day and I see this like maybe 20-year-old girl sitting by the door, and she's smoking a cigarette on a cigarette break. And I'm like, uh-oh. And she looks at me and she's like, are you old enough to be driving? And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, my mom sent me up here. I have a permit, actually. I just, my mom is sick and I had to come up here and get her something to drink. She was like, okay. And then I went in and got my soda and came out and got back in the car and drove home. And she never said anything. She didn't call the police or anything. She probably thought, well, whatever, bro. I mean, what am I supposed to do? So crazy times. Now, most of the time I wasn't actually able to drive the car. I would just take my bike wherever I needed to go, which was totally fine. I would take my bike everywhere. I'd drive that thing all over town, but I would always take my CDs with me. I would take my Walkman, my non-skip Walkman, but would always skip anyway. But at least I had something to listen to. I went around listening to like Good Charlotte at this point. That's when I got into Good Charlotte. I rode my bike to Hastings and bought that Eve 6 CD, the Horoscope CD. Still bangs to this day. And I just really loved music overall. I mean, I just really loved music when I was a kid and growing up, and I didn't like have a lot of access to all the music I wanted because, you know, the internet wasn't really around. We didn't have a computer, so it's not like I could just go look it up. And it's not like there was anywhere to look it up. You still have to buy it unless you downloaded it illegally, which we sometimes would do, but I would have to go to a friend's house if I wanted to do that. So what I would do is get on my bike and ride to the public library, because we live pretty close to the public library. So I'd go up there and they'd let me sit on their computer for like an hour, and I would just like listen to music.
So this is the public library I came to at the last house when we lived with my mom. I just needed to get out of the house, and we had no internet or anything like that. So I would be able to come up here to the library, and they would give me like a free, I think it was like an hour you get for free on their computers with internet. So I would come up here and just listen to nothing but music. I just put their headphones on. I'd be listening to Clay Aiken, Invisible, BB Mac, Out of My Heart. There was some other ones in there too, but those are the two I definitely remember coming and jamming hard. Just imagine a little 13-year-old Mario coming in and listening to Clay Aiken, Invisible at the public library. That's what I was doing. But it was a little bit of a release to get out of my head a little bit, get out of that house and out of that hell. Yeah.
Here and there, my older sister would come over, Mary. She knew that me and Carmen didn't really have it great. She grew up in the same situation we grew up in, so she knows we don't have it great. My mom's a lunatic. So every once in a while, she would stop by, just kind of see what's going on, make sure everything's not too crazy. And one time she came and picked me up, and we went to go like somewhere. And on the way to wherever we were going, I don't even know why I remember this, but wherever we were going, we saw like a turtle in the street. And it was like, you know, a 4-lane highway. So we're like, oh no, we gotta stop and get that turtle. So we like turn around and we're gonna get the turtle. And then somebody else is there and they're like, oh, I'm gonna get the turtle too. So like we're all stopped literally just getting a turtle off the street. We get back in the car and we're driving under this little overpass. Whatever. We're driving under this bridge and she's asking me like, so Mario, I want you to be real. Like, is mom back on drugs? Because like I said, she had pretty much got off the crack to do pills, and then she slowly inched her way back into being a full-time crackhead. So Mary's like, be real, is she smoking crack again? And I'm like, yeah, she's back on drugs. So she was like, listen, if you want to come to my house and stay with me in my trailer for a little bit, you can get away from mom, that's fine with me. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go do that. So we go back to the house, tell mom, hey, Mario's gonna come stay with me for a little bit, and we're gonna come grab his shit. And I was like, all right, hell yeah. So we left and I went and stayed at Mary's house. When I went to stay with my sister Mary, my younger sister Carmen didn't come. It was like a pretty small modular home or a trailer that we were staying in. It was like 3 bedrooms, but all the bedrooms were taken up by people and kids, and my sister probably just didn't want to be out there. So she's like, nah, you can go, I'm not going. So I went out there myself, I had no problem with that. But my sister lived with these like 2 other adults, and they were in like this weird 3-way relationship or something. I want to know what was going on with Mary, Tammy, and Daniel. What was up with that? And they also had like a bunch of kids. So they had like 4 kids, including me, 4 boys, and then 2 girls that lived there, and then 3 adults. So with me being there, there was literally 9 people living in this 3-bedroom like trailer. And it's like a pretty gross trailer. It's not like, you know, the cleanest place in the world. There's roaches everywhere. But for some reason, this was much better than living at my mom's house while she smoked crack. I have some boys to hang out with that are my age, that are cool, that aren't picking on me or anything. We would just walk around the gravel roads because we pretty much lived in the middle of nowhere. I had moved like 30 minutes out of town. That's where my sister lived, in a little town called Elsinore. So we were pretty much in bumfuck Egypt. I mean, that's what I felt like, at least. So we would just walk up and down the gravel roads going nowhere, but it was a pretty good time, you know, just chilling out, doing nothing. They would all love WWE and Raw and SmackDown and WrestleMania and all the big events too, so we get to watch that every single week, and they would buy all the pay-per-views, so we'd go to the other trailer because they had like 3 trailers on this big piece of land that like all of them lived in, like the whole family basically lived on this plot of land, and we just go trailer to trailer doing different things because one trailer had a computer, so we'd go over there and use a computer, and then one trailer had a TV, and then it was just like we were all over at each trailer just doing shit at random trailers. And I would still go back home like every once in a while, but I wouldn't really stay. I would just go mostly to get more stuff and then just leave. And the very last time I actually went back, I wanted specifically to get my Linkin Park Live in Texas DVD. And I would listen to this shit on repeat in my room or watch it and just be acting out all the moves Chester's doing, like imitating him. I'm like, yeah, I want to be Chester, man. That's so cool. So I would be like up in my room acting like I'm Chester. And when I went to my sister's house, I left it at home and I just forgot it. I'm like, well, I want to go back and get that at some point. So I go back and I'm like, I'm going to get that DVD, and I walk into my house and I go into my room and I'm like, wait a minute, where's my DVD? It's not here. And then I go back downstairs and I'm in my mom's room, and then I notice that it's literally playing on the TV. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? That's my DVD. I want it. I'm taking it to Mary's house. She's like, oh, Mario, let me have it. Let me watch it. I'm trying to watch it. I'm trying to see what's going on. And I'm like, whatever, dude. You can freaking watch it, whatever. I'll get it next time. And then I guess I just left it there. But it's funny looking back because, like I said, I had left the whole house pretty much for the most part. I was staying almost full time at my sister Mary's house. And my mom was there with my sister by herself. And she probably just thought about me sometimes and was like, where's Mario? What the hell is Mario doing? And she probably just thought, you know, maybe I'll go get that DVD out of his room and watch that, and then maybe that'll make me think of him or something. I don't know. It's just weird. Kind of feel bad, but, you know, what are you gonna do? So we get back to my sister's house and I'm just living there. Everything's going relatively normally, going to school and all that. It's like the end of my 8th grade year. It's roughly end of April, beginning of May 2004. And one night we're all chilling in the living room, on the couch and on the floor, wherever. My sister Mary gets a phone call and she got to go out and take it on the cell phone. She's on the phone for a while. Now we're all like, oh shit, what's going on? Who's she on the phone with? And she comes back in and looks right at me. I'm right on the couch, right in front of the front door. And she looks right in my face and was like, well, Mario, you're never going to live with Mom again. I'm like, what? What the hell does she do now? And she informs us that my mom decided to get high on pills and try and take my sister to the movies, and she almost drove her directly into the movie theater glass, and then she backed out of the movie theater, just took off, and then she got pulled over in front of Hastings and they took her to jail. May 4th, 2004, Sandra K. Price, 52 of the 400 block of Cleveland Street, was arrested at 7:06 p.m. Saturday on suspicion of driving while intoxicated on drugs. So my sister was staying at home by herself because I'm at my sister Mary's house, so my sister's just staying there by herself. And my mom wants to do drugs or go out or do something. And she's like, hey, Carmen, I want you to go to the movie theater. My sister's like, no, I don't want to go to the movies. I just want to stay home. And my mom was like, no, you're going to the movies. So they get in the car, and then my mom like is erratically driving all the way across town to get to the movie theater. And then my sister's like crying, I don't want to go in. I don't want to go in. And then my mom literally like speeds so fast up to the movies, she almost goes straight into the glass, and then she hits her brakes like, and now all these people are just staring like, oh my God, this bitch is about to run into the movie theater with her car. They back out of the freaking movie theater and just take back off. And then she drives about 4 or 5 miles across town. I don't know how she got that far. Somebody at the movies probably called the police and said this woman's driving like a maniac, come pick her up. And so they drive about 4 or 5 miles across town, and then finally a cop pulls her over in the parking lot of Hastings and take her to jail. And my aunt, I guess, gets a phone call from the police and say somebody's gonna come get this girl. So my Aunt Judy goes and gets my sister, and then they call Mary. And then that's how they found out that the whole situation happened. At this point, we have to like figure out, what are we gonna do? Like, where is me and my sister gonna live at now? Because now my mom's going back to jail. Now basically the police are saying that the state is gonna come in and take custody of me and my sister because my mom is basically a hazard to be around and she can't be raising 2 kids like this. So they were gonna come in and take us. So it was either A, we move in with my sister Mary, or we move in with my Aunt Judy. And for whatever reason, we all decided, it's probably best that you go live with Judy. My sister Mary probably didn't have the resources to take on 2 more kids. I mean, we did get the government check, but that probably wouldn't have helped, raise 2 brand new kids that are in your house. And on top of that, my sister didn't want to go there at all. And my aunt, it just would have been best that we went over there. So that's what we did. We moved in with Judy. But before we actually move in, I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and finish out the school year over here because I'm like almost done with school. It's like pretty much the last week or something of school. And I'm trying to finish up this history project I have to do. It's like one of those projects where you have to do the 3-panel poster board type project. And you have to have the whole thing filled out or have pictures on there and displays of whatever. So I'm trying to do this project going back and forth between certain trailers because one of them had a printer, but I had to keep going back and forth because I don't remember. But either way, I was just going back and forth between trailers trying to get all this fucking shit sorted out so I could pass this class. I turn in the school assignment, I take it to school, I turn it in, and the teacher basically fails me. I didn't fail the whole class, but I basically failed that project and almost failed the whole class. And my sister calls her and she's like, well, maybe I can convince the teacher to give you a better grade just because of all the shit that's going on right now. And you don't really have time to focus on this one thing. She calls the teacher and she was like, hey, Mario's going through it right now. His mom's in jail and this is happening and that's happening. And she was like, nah, he failed. He could have done better. And that was that. And it was like, damn, bro, you guys don't give a fuck. It's like, yeah, it's kind of crazy how that works with school. You got to do all this shit at home. But if you don't have a good home life, how the fuck are you expected to do good at home? Now it's summer 2004 and I'm about to start freshman year of high school and we're staying with Judy full time again. But the first time we stayed there, it really wasn't that bad. The first time in 1999, it really wasn't really that bad. And this time was a little bit different. My sister didn't even make it that long, to say the least, but we're gonna keep that off till the next episode. But either way, we're at Judy's house and at some point we're gonna have to go to court because now this whole thing has to become legal because we can't just legally move out of my mom's house when I'm 14 and my sister's 11 or 12 and we have to go through the courts. So we go to court one day. And it's such a weird experience because we're all in the court lobby. Right before you go into the courtroom, you got to sit out in the lobby and just wait on these massive wooden benches. It's so uncomfortable. It's dark and cold. And me, my aunt, and my uncle are sitting there with our representative. And then my mom walks in. And it's so awkward because she doesn't say anything to us. She just kind of sits across the room with her person. And they're kind of just looking over at us, but they never say anything. It's so weird because it's our mom. You know what I mean? We were just with you a few weeks ago and now we can't even talk to you? What the fuck? So we go into the courtroom and we're sitting in I don't know, where the defense sits and then the plaintiff sits. I don't know that's what we were called, but that's where we were sitting. My mom gets called onto the witness stand or whatever you want to call it in this situation. And they're asking her what do you want to do here? What's going on? And she was like, I'm giving up custody of my children to my sister and my brother-in-law. I'm unfit to be a mother. And then she's talking to us directly. She's looking right at us from the witness stand. And she's like, I'm sorry, kids. I don't want to do this, but I'm not a good mom. And I'm unfit to be a mom. And she's crying and all this shit. And she's like, I wish I didn't have to do this. And yeah, I mean, you could just get off the drugs and, fix your life. But you're 52 years old. Now you're just so fucked you can't stop. So basically, she's like, fuck it. I'm just going to give you guys up to your aunt and your uncle. And that's what happened. It was weird. And then whenever she's done, she gets off the stand and then, they were like, all right, well, I guess that's that. Your guardians are now your uncle and your aunt and you're free to go. They hit the gavel thingy, adjourned court, and then we just left. And then we lived with my aunt forever. I don't even remember if we talked to my mom after court or what the situation was, but it was definitely hella awkward. Mario and Carmi's not going to Memphis. They're going to a foster home. They just say, hey, let's beat the shit out of this kid and maybe they'll act right, and drives us all the way to the freaking police station to take a lie detector test. Sandra Price pleaded guilty September 13th to driving while intoxicated. Oh, I'm gonna go get Blackie and it's time to get hit with Blackie. I just got here 2 hours ago and I'm already getting in trouble for not drinking my cereal milk. Your friend down the other street, he's gonna be a doctor. And you know what you're gonna be? Just like your mother. I should have thrown that shit right in her face. So Mario, what was that thing your mom put over there in the bushes? You can't say everything out loud because Big Brother's always listening.